he's gay.
I think,
and he said that he likes me.
Oh, see,
and I'm like, I have nothing for you, homie. Like, I really don't.
Barking up the wrong tree, Papa.
Okay,
so like years later.
Okay. Okay, years later.
James doesn't look the way he doesn't look like the fastest guy in Green Key anymore. He's got long hair and he's fat and he's like out of shape.
We don't use that word either.
Fat?
Pleasantly plump.
Oh, it was pleasantly plump. And I guess who I run into at the mall.
Like literally run?
Like
you guys
I didn't run. Like I bumped into him. I think he was working at something. At some like store. And I'm like, hey, you know, and he looks at me like, ooh. That was so
honestly
upset.
That's I think probably the best
wait
because
I was so upset. I was offended.
Honestly,
I'm like,
yeah,
you want to?
That's your karma, bitch. Yeah, that's all. I don't even have to. Yeah, nope.
I was just like
that right there.
I was like, man. This guy was all over me back in the day, and now he doesn't want anything to do with me.
That's funny.
I felt like shit. I was just like, damn, man, why doesn't he like me like that anymore?
Don't feed the animals, signs all around. We talk a lot of junk, yeah, you vibing with us now. Build something from the ground up. Yeah, we like to clown, talk about some real stuff, yeah, something profound. It's a pleasure that you're hearing us, wouldn't mess around. It's a topic of discussion worth talking that we bust and put a nail in the coffin. If you love it, then you love it. If you don't mean nothing, still bring it to the public. Y'all, don't feed the animals, put them in a cage, they couldn't handle truth. We gonna bust out the gate like some cannibals. Same face, same channel, messing with the tune. A bunch of idiots stuck in one room, can't take us serious. You love what we feeding you. I'm with the show, yeah, proceed with the interview. Local celebrity, snatch a toy from your cereal. Don't feed the animals.
Howdy ho, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Feed the Animals podcast with your host, as always, James. And with me is my co-host extraordinaire / cuzzo, DJ motherfucking Daffy. There's explosions.
In the building.
Yep. And we have a returning guest this beautiful, beautiful day to represent this theme of the podcast, which is Pride. And we have Pride with us. We have Rodrigo returning.
I'm back. Hello.
Nice. On popular demand. You know, your show has done pretty good. Like,
really?
Yeah. It I checked the numbers, and yours is definitely since we've been back on the podcast, your episode has been the most popular.
Oh, that makes me feel really good. Thank you.
I don't know if you were telling people about it or whatever, but
that's awesome.
That's actually great.
A lot of people have been listening to it.
It's
still pretty up there, you know. But yeah. So again, welcome back, everybody. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I know I skipped a week, but you know, it happens. I do this every now and then where I don't do an episode, but that's fine because it's very important to me to have quality content, not just putting things out just for the sake of putting things out. And I didn't feel like doing another solo podcast because I'm pretty sure people are tired of me getting high and drunk and rambling in this room.
Fuck that. I think that's the only way to do it.
I know, but I maybe I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too often, you know? It's just too much.
That's cool.
Too much, you know?
Be in that rabbit hole like a fucking slip and slide.
But yeah. So, I wanted today's theme to be Pride because it is Pride Month. It's a whole
sure
fucking
is.
month. The month of June.
It's crazy, right?
I don't know when this started because I don't remember it last year.
feel like
but
somewhere
it
in-
probably happened last year, right?
I feel like somewhere in
It
Florida.
happened a
it
couple of
started.
years ago.
a couple years ago, Pride.
Pride has been happening for a long time.
Really?
Yeah,
It's just
I didn't
not
know.
in every state they do pride parades and all that shit.
No, but I didn't know that there was a month.
They earn
Just
that.
like there's a
They
like I
kinda
know
fought for
about
that
like the
one.
parades, like but they usually it's like Puerto Rican Day Parade,
No, yeah. The thing is,
Pride Day.
from what I've seen and known, I believe that over the time it grew as a really big and powerful community at the point where like Black History Month has a month, and then you got like Pride Month, which is more like a newer thing because I mean a lot of people just still don't want. I guess they hate other people being happy, and it's like, what happens to the word gay being happy? All
I
that, but now
love
everybody's too prideful,
Pride Month.
too happy to be.
It's
Like, can people just be people? Like, why do you care so fucking much? Curious George?
literally.
Coming from an extreme cynic and somebody who doesn't like a lot of things, I'm actually cool with Pride Month, like a lot. Like not even just because of the fact, like I'm like this is like a chill ass month. Like
Bro, everybody's fucking
like
positive and
colorful
Everyone's
happy.
just vibing.
and positive. And
Nobody's
vibing.
angry. Everybody's
Literally.
dancing. Everybody's
Yeah.
fucking drinking
Everyone's
and
just having
chilling.
a good time.
I know.
Like, it's like
sounds fun.
it's like literally the wrong month to be a homophobe. Like, go
Yeah.
go to
It's the
fucking.
worst kind of month to be homophobic.
It
Oh my
really
God.
is because it's like, and then I mean, let's be real. Florida, I feel like Florida has Pride Month like all year, so it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
pretty
Florida,
good.
if anything, Florida was like labeled, oh, you know, there's too many gays out there in South Beach. I'm like, you know, hey,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, no, not necessarily. I mean, yeah, there's a couple, but it's like, is that what you're looking for, or like you're looking to dodge them? I'm like, you're acting like it's a fucking disease or something.
Yeah.
They get so, but see, those are the people who get nervous around gay people. I think are the most curious ones.
Oh yeah.
Like,
they're
is
most
it?
interested into our lives and the way that we think and the way that we act.
And you know what?
Yeah.
You could be curious and ask a couple of questions, but it's like when you more interested in the lifestyle and like how is it to be a gay man? Like, let me be in your chancletas for one day or something. And it's like, well, you know, you went from hating to let me take notes. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now you're questioning yourself.
Right.
You being all this bitter, angry, and you know, F these gay boys, F these. All right, cool. But you really want to know, like,
That's usually what they
why
do
they're so happy.
sometimes. Yeah, there are people who are like how in the community like they call like DL, like down low.
Of course.
You know, those are the people that are like straight acting or like very straight, have girlfriends, you
or
know,
their
like,
parents raised them to
like to
like
be strictly like super
yeah, like
homophobic.
by the book.
Yeah. Yeah. Those
Like, they
people are
none
like
of
the
that
most
shit.
like curious about like the sexuality and like being like into someone who is the same like gender as you. Like
It's a
pretty
lot,
much.
and you know what though, and this is another reason why, like, between those parents and those people and growing up, because I mean, some people start very young, some people, you know, it just pops up like,
Mhm.
oh, I really enjoy this, and then all right, to each his own, it's your life.
Yeah.
But it's like those are the ones who have the hardest time accepting it and coming out.
yeah, internalized
You get your
homophobia.
ass beat by your dad or something like, ain't no fruits in my house or some shit. Like, they'll say some hurtful shit.
Yeah.
And then you grow up, get older, get famous, write a fucking book, and he's still a cocksucker villain in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Literally.
internalized homophobia is like a thing. Like people that are out there that are like being like DL, like hooking up with like other guys, hooking up with other girls, because there's also women who do the same thing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Of anyone from any genders, we probably do the same thing. But there are people who are doing that like out there, and you shouldn't have to feel like so resentful towards yourself. Like, forgive yourself a little bit from like having that internalized homophobia. Like, it's understandable, like, yeah, sure, like you were raised in that way, but like if you want to live like truly to yourself, then like truly live to yourself, but like don't like stop lying to your own self about that too, you know?
Yeah.
There's no need.
Like, even just imagining, like, imagine you, like, you know, like for you.
I mean, but that's also a lot of self-hate, and it's like you can literally transfer that. You could transfer that over, and it's all energy too.
Yeah.
Just like if somebody's feeling shitty and you know you're feeling giggity and positive, that tends to rub off. But it's like nowadays, you would think people kind of like, you know, join together and stop killing each other and stop like, you know, hating each other, because I mean, who knows how long everything is going to be okay or cool, or you wake up to see another day.
Yeah.
But you gotta live it like it's your last, and you want to live that day hating somebody because they love, the same sex and they have a great life and they're okay. Like they're not struggling. They're nothing different from us.
Yeah.
We're all literally human. That's the race that people keep forgetting. It's not because you're Puerto Rican or Irish or Scottish, apparently.
Yeah.
But that's another story. And at the end of the day, we're human.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to be racist towards an alien, by all means, that motherfucker's probably smarter than you, but by all means, go for it. Motherfucker's an alien, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, people alienize the human race and like, yo, we're still human.
Yeah.
Like we have the same parts.
Yeah, there's like no need to like hate one another.
Even if you go trans, you're still switching a human part or taking out a human part or just being still human at the end of the day.
Even medically, if you don't like transition, like it doesn't change who you are at the end of the day. Because
Yeah,
you
you're
can medically
still-
transition,
you're still
like
a
not medically
Homo
transition,
sapien.
and you're still, no matter what you do, you're still a woman or a man or like however you want to identify.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting robot legs, but
Okay, so I'm gonna shake things up a bit though. I'm gonna come from like not a hateful side because I have no hate like in my
it's
heart.
all love, baby.
But I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna come from a side of like what I think is happening
Right.
to like almost play like devil's advocate. I think that people are out there. It's not necessarily that they're super upset with the whole thing. It's just they just don't like the fact that things that don't have anything to do with them are getting so much attention, and they just don't like the overexposure of stuff. Some people, like I'm assuming, just don't like being under like the shroud of something that's going on or a movement when it like has nothing to do with them. But then they come off like bitter about it,
Yeah.
which is shitty because like me, I'm like no, this is cool, this is fun. But then again too, like this is a shitty parallel, but I'm like, I don't fucking love Christmas like everyone loves Christmas. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are like,
It's a
you
love-hate
fucking
thing.
Scrooge, and it's like, yeah, but I just don't like Christmas like
Right.
everyone likes Christmas. So it's like, so you have that too, where you have like other sides of the story where people will look at somebody like that and be like, oh, he's probably a homophobe, or oh, he's probably like, he just doesn't like, gays or the LGBTQ community at all because they just don't care. But then I'm like, sometimes people also just don't give a shit, and they just don't buy into anything. There's people
Yeah.
out there that do that. So, I've noticed that you do have the extremes on both sides, because you'll have an extreme of people who are like overly prideful to the point where they want to create their own ways of doing things and shake things up. I think doing things that basically keeps everybody equal and even is very important. I think that's more important, like where you have the same opportunities as him and he has the same opportunities as her.
I mean, equality is a big
and that
thing.
I think is more important. But I sometimes the narrative is not always so. When it comes to any group, not necessarily the LGBTQ community. I mean, it's any group where you have people who are like overbearing when it comes to like just like you're not with us, you're against us type shit, and I'm just like, that
Which is
sucks.
fair.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, like being part of the LGBT, it's difficult day to day. Like there are people who are getting murdered, like left and right.
No,
like,
100%.
It's the worst. And to kind of like talk back the whole like being shrouded or like having the overexposure, like put yourself in a queer person's like shoes for like 2 seconds, living in a very
Some nice fucking
heteronormative.
shoes.
There are some really
nice
ass shoes, but they've treaded through a lot.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah,
community
yeah.
itself like has definitely treaded through a lot. But put yourself in the shoes and just really think like, we have lived in a very heteronormative like world where like every single movie, every single TV show, like everything that you're exposed to is very hetero. Like you see men and women kissing all the time. Like you see like all of that everywhere. Like sex sells for almost every single company.
100%.
They will show that in any way, shape, or form, and that's how people will get you to like watch that TV show, watch that movie, buy that product. But then the moment that someone sees like a queer person in the ad or something along those lines,
they start
just like,
cringing.
whoa, like that's a little too much for me. But it's like
I thought they were friends.
You're now seeing it more in the light because like more companies are being more inclusive about it. But it shouldn't have taken this long for the inclusivity to happen. We, like how you said before, we're all humans, right? This is something that's like a normal thing for us. It shouldn't have to be like a non-normal or abnormal thing for hetero people, like people who are straight. So it's like I've lived and grown up. The things that I've grew up with were very hetero, like very like man and girl, like boy and girl always together no matter what. Like I never watched a television show or a TV show or seen an ad until recently where it's like two like males or females or AMABs or people who however they identify, like they thems, trans people, like now we see more of that. But growing up it was always straight, it was always man and woman, and you're exposed to that on a constant basis. And for someone who thinks that like it's a little bit too much for me, like you're now seeing this in this day and age because people are being more progressive, people are being more inclusive. But what were you saying when you saw like two, like a man and a woman, like basically almost dry humping in front of each other for Calvin Klein or for Armani Exchange or like for any other company or like any other TV show? Like why weren't you guys like, whoa, that's too much for me?
They didn't throw the flag in then. Like
now like people want to say like, oh, like you guys are throwing yourselves a little bit too much, like people are like hating all of this, and it's just like, but why is there like, what's the point of hating?
And you're right, you make a strong point about that, and it's shit. Even back in the days, I mean, I feel like back in the days obviously was 10 times worse for anybody 100%. Who wanted to come out and be different. You didn't even have to be gay, you just had to be different.
We were also made fun of 9 times out of 10. Like we were the butt of the jokes. Like I watched like old like as shitty as this is, like Family Guy, like TV like shows, like episodes, or like American Dad episodes, or any other like those like cartoons where they use a crude humor,
and it's not even that old.
We're like not even that old either. Like this is like early 2000s, like at most. And the gay person is like this super flamboyant, like all like short shorts, like short t-shirt, like very promiscuous.
Like they have an ideal.
Yeah, they have like a whole like stereotype of like gay people, and like, and we're always the butt of the joke.
Yeah,
and it's like, whoa, hold on, like my life, my experience is definitely not a joke, not at all. Like I hold myself very like up high for the person that I am today. Like I wouldn't be the person I am today unless I came out like and showed my 100%, because that's my most genuine self. And I feel bad for people who are like DL because like they aren't able to like show their most genuine self because they have so much internalized homophobia in that. But to kind of go back to the whole joke thing, like we're always the butt of the joke. And it's like, why? Like why am I, like, why is my experience, my life, like why am I a joke? Why is my life a joke to you? And
what gets mad, it's like when you try to even introduce or even have the thought of like having somebody who's different, because it really doesn't matter. It just I try to understand. I do understand the reason why it makes people uncomfortable is because they're not knowledgeable and they don't understand the life path that you chose. It didn't choose you. Like you wanted. Like, I mean, you don't want the struggle, obviously. You don't want to make fun of. You don't want the heckling. You don't want to, but you want to be yourself. And if yourself is somebody who's free, somebody who's happy, somebody who's positive and motivated, then what does it matter who they choose to be? Romantic, intimate, sexual, physical, anything with that? That's beyond me. It's not like, you could be, and that's the thing, you could be gay, you can be into that, you can be super flamboyant. They come in all shapes and sizes.
Like gay people are like
there's like a gay level of like super flamboyant, like too extra, you know what I'm saying? Where they just be you know what I mean? Like they sometimes people try and put, and I understand why people feel uncomfortable because they're trying to be comfortable and get to know how to be around somebody who's not them. But
they're
sometimes
trying to like stick to that like normie, like like this is how you're supposed to act in public.
I've seen the media portray it horribly.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not like not okay people are like this or do this. Like when they force commercials or cartoons or kid shows, that bothers me a little bit. Kids should not really be knowing about like watching two people make out. Like, I'm not gonna have my kids watch anybody make out or have sex at a certain age. Anybody, it can be gay, straight, anything.
Then that's a lot of television. That's
exactly.
A lot of things
If
you're gonna have to
I
like
will
not
filter
show.
the fuck out of it.
You're gonna have to filter the
television.
fuck
What
out of
about
that.
internet?
There's
What
a
about
lot
the
of shit.
internet?
Literally, that's the thing. There's people. The thing is like
Internet
you
is
can
nothing but
try to
sex.
filter your child's experience from like learning and finding these things.
Yeah.
But they're always going to find a way.
Oh yeah, you can't
to
prevent
find
the
it,
inevitable.
no matter
you
what.
can't. It's gonna
Like,
happen.
You can filter as much as you want to filter, but they're going to find like two men kissing, two women kissing,
Yeah.
a man and a woman kissing. You know, like they're gonna find all that media.
I just feel like
if
they
not from you, but from someone else.
Yeah.
They're
I
gonna
just
go to
feel
the
like
schoolyard
lately-
being like, "Oh, this," because I did not learn what gay was until I
Yeah.
was in like second grade when I was like being called a faggot, like straight up. Like
Automatically.
had no idea what that word even meant. Like me, like really young.
And to
like,
this
not
day, that
knowing-
word is very,
Yeah.
very strong.
100%.
It's like using the N word.
Pretty much.
Might as well.
Yeah, like it's really that. And if it's like honestly, like I can't even lie, like within my own community, like for the people that I feel comfortable with, like I use that word because I'm just like I've reclaimed that word. That's my word now.
Yeah, I was
You
gonna
know,
say
that's like that's
it's
my
okay,
word
yeah.
now. Like no one's going to make me feel bad for like this specific word, and I'm not
I
going
mean,
to
look,
demonize this word because like
They
whatever.
They try to
You know?
abolish the N word, and you got everybody and their mother saying it regularly. Like,
and it's also awful. Like,
oh, that's
please
my
stop.
that's my
Like,
so and so.
like,
That's
no,
my
like,
that's my
nah,
that's
like,
my ninja.
So tone it down. No. Like you should not be using that word. Period. You know, like-
Exactly. That's why it's like, and it's like they promote the gay community in like some of the wrong ways. I'm
In
like,
the
they're
worst ways
so
possible.
not like that.
yeah, like
Like they all think, oh yeah, bend the wrist and walk with these high, beautiful fluorescent colors.
and
I'm
not
like,
everyone does.
that's not
That's
everybody.
the thing. Like not
you
everyone
got
does. Like
gangsters
yeah,
that are super gay and they look more tatted up than me, and they're super
100%.
queer.
Like you being like gay or any letter of the LGBT because it's a long ass like
Yeah, there's
acronym.
levels to this shit.
You know, yeah, there is.
There's
like
levels.
however you identify or like however like you want to be like however you are like sexually like whatever the case may be, like you come in all shapes and forms no matter what. Like you can be like the most masculine, you can be the most feminine, you can be right in the middle, you can be like whatever.
But they're themselves.
But you're yourself, and that's
the
what
beautiful part
matters.
about it.
Like be your most authentic self and don't be afraid of being your most authentic self.
Be the
Because-
best version.
Exactly. Like you should be the best version for yourself and you shouldn't let anyone, especially the people fucking around you, to stop that. Like never ever put yourself to be like that ever. You know, like always put
Everybody gotta be
yourself
equal. You're
forward.
not a higher race. You're not a
100%,
higher
like yeah,
community. You're just you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it should be.
And that is why Pride Month is awesome. Because that's what it pretty much is. It's just about everybody being themselves.
And you know, there's like a few states that make a huge big deal about it. Like I got homegirls right now that are like, oh, we're gonna go check out the Pride Week over there in Cali, and
Oh yeah.
it's
Like,
big as shit.
The states that like allow like pride to happen, because
They
there's
push
states
it.
that still don't. Like there's
Yeah.
states that you still can't go get married in. Like there are
Yeah.
places where like I go and like I could get like I can't do shit there. You
Yeah.
know, like I'm discriminated against, you know,
Oh, yeah,
for more than one
automatically.
reason, obviously. But there, and that sucks. Like it's crazy how like we still have to like it's not crazy. It's
I mean, they're
it's
getting better,
shitty
though.
as it is. It's getting better.
You
like,
go back 15
fingers crossed,
years.
you know, like it stays progressive, you know. However, and I want to actually thank like the younger generation for that too. Like I'm only like 24, but like the people who are younger than me are like being the most like, if they're gay, they already know. They're very like proud of it. They're very like shut off, and thankfully their parents
they're
have
not
been, like, also like
second-guessing
super
or-
like yeah, like the amount of like young queer people that like I've been able to like meet like in passing.
Confidence levels
Has like
amazing.
they're the most like at most like happiest, like they've been
That's
so
awesome.
progressive, and they just want it to like continue. And like I see so much of that like over the internet where like they're so proud of being who
As
they
should
are.
be, as you
And
should be.
exactly as they should be. Like they shouldn't feel afraid. And
You're
I love
alive.
that.
You're breathing.
Exactly.
You're loving life.
And that's why pride is so important, especially for people who are much younger than like us.
And it's summertime too.
And it's just fun.
It's like it's beautiful. It's always
We're
sunny.
all just trying to be happy. Like, you know, like it's we, as much as like people want to like take like, you know, separate the communities and stuff, like we're all people, like how you said before, you know, like I mean, for me, like personally, like myself, like I want to say for sure, like I definitely try to love everyone like equally, you know, unless you have like completely different morals from me and like you just are a shitty person overall. Like I can differentiate a shitty person from a good person, but I like try to give as much love as I can to like the people who like are willing and deserving of my love. And it's just crazy how like people still try to separate like everything to me. It's like, why can't we just exist? Like we all have been existing forever. Like, why can't we just live? You know, like we shouldn't have to feel afraid to be ourselves. Like I shouldn't have to feel afraid to walk out of my home like wanting to wear whatever the fuck I want to wear, or like express myself the way I want to express myself, to like be hate crime. Like I shouldn't have to walk out of my house and like think like, oh, today is the fucking day that someone's gonna say some shit to me. Like thankfully, like I'm very privileged in that aspect where like I have never had someone like ever say some shit to me. I'm very happy and I'm very privileged to say that. But like you never fucking know, tomorrow like someone can come up and be like, that faggot over there like fucked up my shit, or like did something to me or said something to me, and I'd be like, whoa,
I've seen it.
Like I've never been in that position, and I would never know.
It gets nasty.
I would
seen it.
It's crazy.
It gets nasty, and I hate bullies.
I had an old coworker, and I was working with, and one day a customer came in and fucking he threw the F-bomb, and I was just like, whoa,
that's crazy.
And I'm like, you're nuts. I'm like, yo, like, what the hell is your problem, homie? Get that out of here.
So uncomfortable. Like,
no, it was just like, it was all
like,
he did was out
like
him.
Anybody.
He just outed his ignorance. He just outed himself.
You felt the hate coming out. You
felt
the hate.
Like, damn, man.
I just have never in my life have ever like had to live that, and I don't even know what I would do, because like I'm a very level-headed person. But I feel as if someone tried to attack me like that, like I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would say.
It'll break you down, dog. I mean, shoot, I had a customer tell me one day at work when I was waiting tables and stuff, and he was just like, oh, you know, like I think the banana on the dessert was little like the skull or whatever, and I was like, oh, get your news. Like, oh, thought you spics can spot out a good banana, and I was like,
oh my god, that's like terrible.
I was like, well, to my defense, our spics use green bananas, pussy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you should save the yellow ones for the monkeys. And by monkeys, I literally mean the animals. So let's not switch my words around, because people on social media love to do that shit because they're bored. Yeah. But this hateful motherfucker is like, I thought you spics supposed to know what a good banana looks like. Motherfucker.
Like I haven't heard that word in a long ass time too. Oh my god.
Like I've never been, that was the first time ever I think I was called a spick. And I was like, I don't know how to feel. I want to like fuck you up right now, but I'm like,
it's like, what the fuck do you have to say about me?
So of course I went and got him a new banana, and I gave him the blackest, darkest, I
just thrown the banana at him, like,
brown spots everywhere, and he's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, I heard the brown spots just make it more sweeter, so enjoy your sweet ass dessert," and walked away. And he went to talk to a manager, and then that went over there, and I was like, she's like, "Oh, did you?" I was like, "Yes, I did." She's like, "Why'd you give him this banana? It's messed up." I'm like, because it fits the customer. So what's that supposed to mean? I was like, well, you know, I'm a fucking spick, so I guess I got him what he wanted. And then she's like, he called you a spick? Sir, not only are you going to have to pay for this tab, but you're also banned. If you'd like to talk to someone higher up, here's the number. Chances are, once I tell them the reason why, they probably won't answer. So thank you for choosing. And this was at Bahama Breeze.
Yeah.
Nice place.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing all black outfit. My hair is tied up neatly. I'm looking like Antonio Banderas. Like I'm looking mad Spaniard, and I speak clearly and everything. So, and here's the thing that blows my mind: older white man, younger black girl with a baby.
It's always.
But you call me a spick in front of your girl.
Oh my!
She might as well call you massa. Because you're making it seem like, and mind you, it's a lot of families around and everything. So I even had a white lady turn around like, and so when my manager was talking, she was like, "No, he did the right thing. He didn't argue. He didn't say anything. I apologize for him, young man. That was uncalled for." And like I'm like, yeah, well, that's your race. That's your people. Should have shut him up when he was saying that. You know. Felt like they were applauding now. I'm like, whoa, you know, I'm a spick now, but your food was great.
Ugh.
So yeah, I mean, be grateful that you haven't went through that because it gets ugly. It gets really nasty.
Like
Words could really hurt if you know how to deliver them.
Oh, 100%.
Like I could literally make someone cry and say some shit.
Yeah, me too. Like no matter how hard, like how thick of skin that I have, like I know that if it ever, like.
Yeah, there's always something.
Fingers
you can say
crossed
to
it doesn't
somebody,
ever happen. You know, like I'm just like, please, like let's continue this train going. You know, but like if it ever freaking does, I'm gonna be like, whoa, there, Bucko. Like that energy I do not need. I'm just walk away. I'm just go.
And you know what? I've toned down a lot because I would whoop your ass if you say some stupid shit like that. But now I'm like,
nah, just be like, here, bye.
Yeah, I'm gonna go dismiss my. I'm
gonna dismiss myself.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go because like
you ain't even gotta move. Stay right there.
I can't say anything to you because I'm wearing whatever the fuck I'm wearing.
And I know I'm very short tempered, so it's like I hate bullies, and of course racism is like the biggest form of bullying, and like even through middle school to high school, you know, you can't say you never had a gay friend through that, and if you haven't, hey, you're missing out. They got all the bitches. At least back when I was in school, there's a one gay friend to make fun of, and I hated it. Cool guy. He did not flirt with anybody who wasn't on that level.
Right.
So if you feel uncomfortable, why you feel uncomfortable? You think he's cute? Like, you know what I mean? Like, gay people don't just holler at anybody like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta know.
Like that's the one thing that I hate about like straight men, like straight men who are ignorant, who like don't understand, just because someone in your circle is gay does not mean we automatically want to hook up with you. Like,
and someone be like, well, why not?
I tell you, like I can't, like thankfully I've never had like ever like straight men, like friends of mine who are like straight, ever feel that way, and thankfully they've always felt like comfortable being around me to the point where like they are even gay with me, like gayer than I am sometimes with like with my own friends, you know, which I love because like that's when like you know that like these men are like super comfortable with who they are because they don't give a fuck about anyone else or like however else like thinks or believes, you know. So it's like to hear like there are still men out there who like swear they're hot shit to the point that like they like are expecting me to like them. Like, nah, dude, like you're not that hot.
I feel like that's low-key gay.
Like, you really think you're that hot for like you think that any gay guy in the world would want you? Like, baby, you're the last person I would want you in this, for fucking sure. That's like, oh my god,
you're not my type, though.
Like, I don't even like you like that. Like, I would, if some guy ever came up to me, like, who was a friend of mine, quote unquote, because like at that point I'm just like, are we even friends? Like, if someone came up to me was just like, yeah, like you're gay, like I don't know, like I just don't want you to hit on me or anything. I'd be like, baby, like I don't even want you like that.
Yeah.
Like that never even crossed my mind.
Someone say that, I would judge him.
I have a story that reminded me of a story. I had this is when we lived in Green Key.
Okay.
You remember the guy who lived above us, the Italian kid, Matt?
I do.
Yeah, so he's like a freaking soprano. Like this kid was an Italian dude from New York.
He was a guinea.
He was a guinea for sure. Absolutely, the epitome of it. He was like a bad kid. He was older than me, but he fucks with me. So he like, I always had bad kids that liked hanging out with me. And it's not like because I was a little shit too. I was a good kid, like who only did, but they always keep me around. And they're like, you know, don't do what we do. Like, but we like you, kid. So like, he didn't like one of our other friends that lived in the community. There was this kid, Jason, you know, and he basically is like the fastest kid in our development because we do races.
Yeah.
And stuff. So like one day I beat him and I was like, I felt so good. I'm like, I beat Jason.
As you should.
Yeah, like that's all he does is track. Like a motherfucker with a track star.
So quick. We did like manhunt and then like I freaking caught him and I was like, oh man, I'm the fastest kid in this Green Key. Feeling. Oh, it was so good. So like me and Jason, we were decent friends. We would hang out. Like our relationship consisted of like just hanging out. I went over to his house like a couple times, and like I'm gonna point out some key things that happened with me and Jason. Like, you know, we would talk about girls. We would talk about like
fucking wrestling
too. But he was, you know, he was soft spoken. He was cool, but he was just like, you know, he dressed nice, and there was nothing to it.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is that my upstairs neighbor hated Jason. fucking hated Jason. The reason why wasn't necessarily for the reasons what he expressed why. The reason why is because I think his mother or him snitched on them or something. Like they told security that like they were hanging out in like our pool area or something like that, or he just assumed that Jason was the one that outed him in some scenario, so he was pissed because you're just like, you snitched on me,
Right.
and you should just shut the fuck up because you know, who cares. So that may or may not have happened. I don't know. I don't care. All I know is Matt's my friend, Jason's my friend.
Right.
So I'm like, you know, I'm torn. But Matt kept on accusing. He's like, I don't know where you hang out with that kid. I'm like, why? He's a freaking F word. And I'm like,
Wow.
I'm like, why? Why are
I mean,
you
it might
saying
have sounded
that?
funny the way he said it, but in reality,
Oh,
it's
he
like-
said it. It was kind of funny because it was just too.
When
it was
people
so
just drop that
Sopranos
word, I'm
about
like,
it.
whoa.
But
But
he
then
said,
afterwards,
so
like,
Sopranos.
damn, like, what he do to you? Shit.
No, yeah, well, that's what I said, and then he said, you know, like he's such a snitch and blah 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 blah. But he's like, but that's not why. He's like, no, but like he's seriously a F word, and I'm like, what do you mean?
Whoa.
Oh.
Like another, like, he's
So he's
mad
more
at him.
mad about him being
Like he was
gay.
mad, and
He's like mad, but like he wants
But
to be
he's-
even more mad.
no, but he's
because-
also saying, yeah, but he's also this. So
No,
like,
but he
why
wants
do
to
you
put
hang out with
a
him?
legit reason, but then in reality, the legit reason is because of the
yeah,
F.
like he wants
Yeah.
to like sprinkle on like, oh yeah, like he's a snitch, he's this, that, but
Yeah.
most
And-
of all,
and
he's
and
this.
Yeah, he definitely
Whoa.
emphasized
So
that
it
one.
sucks because again, I'm good friends with Matt, but it's just like, damn, why you so
Yeah, I gotta
hateful?
say like that word.
Shit.
Yeah. So
I didn't
eventually,
even know
Matt,
Jason was
With
gay.
your chest.
Matt
Like,
moves away.
I did not know Jason was gay. I just thought he just dressed nice.
No, Matt, and he swims too.
oh,
so, like-
sounds hot.
Matt moves away, and don't get me wrong. Like again, I always like hang out with Jason, and we'll go on for like walks, and like we would talk about like, you know, when you're young, and like you're talking about like 14,
Really dumb shit. Yeah.
14, 15, and I'm not talking about necessarily dumb shit. You're talking about like boners, and like you're talking about like
Did not
watching.
experience that. Nope.
Watching no, like you never
Not
talked to your
I.
friends about like watching like pornos and
Nope.
stuff like that.
No, I just watch it.
All my friends were girls.
Right. Well, that's the type of shit he would talk to me about.
Oh no, I talked about feelings a lot. Like
No,
there was a lot
he
of
was-
conversation.
He'd be like,
about
"Oh,
how
did
he
you see
felt.
this porno?" Or like, "What do you do when you watch porno?" And I'm like, at the time, I wasn't jerking it yet, so I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, I started very early.
I didn't
sure was.
start jerking.
I think
it yet.
I think I'd have to blame the babysitter my mom hired, which will she
You can tell me that
will
story
remain
later. We'll
nameless.
do another story.
I was a very curious person, so I was.
But
definitely
so
touching
so
myself
he would
around. Very
just
early.
talk about stuff like that. Even one time, and I went to his house. He's like, "You want to pop one in?" And I'm like, "Whatever." I mean, I'm like,
I've heard of that. I've heard straight people
I'm like,
do that.
yeah. I'm like, we're watching it.
Oh, I watch porno with the homies, whatever.
Yeah,
but
I'm like, yeah, put
I
it
was
on.
young.
But would
After I
you
realized-
really watch porno with the homies though? Like,
No,
right?
look,
like,
you watch
I
porno
just
with a
wanna
homie. You don't
understand.
watch porno with a
No, yeah.
No, you're watching like,
Okay,
haha,
right.
I'm not
look
gonna
at
be
that.
a jerk
that's-
circle or
that-
some
Okay,
shit.
you're not
that's what I
circle
meant.
jerking.
Because like, there's
No,
a
no.
difference between watching porno with the
No.
homies and then watching
So those are,
porno
like,
with the
little
homies.
things.
You know?
We
And it-
glanced at the porno around some homies.
And mind you, these
just-
little things
You're
happen
just pressing play.
few.
Okay, got it.
They happen few and far between me and Jason. So it's like it didn't happen often, but I remember like these things happening. I'm like, okay,
Right.
cool. So fast forward maybe a year later, you know, I'm still friends with Jason.
Right.
You know, like these are people aren't my best friends, but they're people from the
Yeah, you're
neighborhood,
friends.
and then they're people who I see and hang out with. Matt already moved back to New York, so he's gone.
Right.
And I remember working out with Jason, and Jason's like, and we're working out, and he's like, "Hey, man," and I'm like, "Yeah, what's up, man?" And he's like, and I'm doing like, I remember I'm doing like the chest press thing, and I'm just like, on the machine, just doing. And he's like, "Hey, you remember like when Matt used to accuse me of being like gay and stuff?"
Oh, I love the way that the story's going.
and I'm like, yeah, you know, it's crazy. It's I don't know why he was so mean and said that kind of things. It's like it doesn't make sense. Like I don't think that about you. And he's like, well, I am gay though.
Oh, I love that.
And I'm just like, oh, because I really didn't know he
Like,
was
wasn't
gay.
it awkward?
I
Like, was it like a?
defended him
Okay.
so much to Matt.
I love that. I love
because
that.
but I would defend him of not being gay. I wouldn't.
I mean, still.
Keep in mind,
But still,
it's still
that's
2000s.
But
so
it's still good though, because
being-
like even if he like the thing is that like you still defended your friend, even though like this person didn't confide into you that they were gay or not.
No.
That's the point.
I
So
mean,
the
had
point
his
is that you
back.
still defended your friend
You had
because
his
you had
back.
their
That
back
was
no matter
good. That was
what.
cool.
Well,
That's
to-
what matters.
I wasn't defending him in the way like I should have. Like if this was 2021, I'd be like, who cares? But back then in 2000, and you know, I'm saying he's not. Like it's bad that if he was. No, I'm not saying
okay.
that he's bad if he was.
Right.
But I'm defending
But at the
him.
time-
At the time, I was defending him because I'm like, no, he's not. Like, why are you saying that he is and he's not? Like, that's not cool. He's
But
not.
then also like
I'm like, he just dresses nice and swims really well.
But then don't
Sure,
like
yeah.
I would say to you, if anything, like don't feel so bad, because if again like this person didn't come out to you or like say anything to
Right.
you at all whatsoever, and like this person was still most likely still figuring themselves out.
Probably.
So like
That's true.
I
Yeah.
think the overall point is that you defended your friend even if he wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
and then a year later, like, you know, thankfully this person felt so comfortable with you to come out to you.
Yeah, you
Well-
defended
know,
him as a person. You
yeah,
defended
like
him
you were
as-
just like, how could you say that about this person? Like, how can you even like say that? Because like there are people who are out there who like have been like, okay, yeah, like are like, oh, that person's like gay, like why are you friends with them, blah blah blah, and they're like not at all, like whatsoever. Like, you know,
Right.
I've been around there people like who like are perceived as gay from other people but aren't, you know, and they're not
Yeah.
actually gay and
No,
whatever.
yeah, absolutely.
But at the end of the day, it's like I think
I
the
was
point
just-
is like
yeah, I was
still
defending
defended
what I
your
knew.
friend.
Yeah.
Exactly. Until like you found out that this person was actually gay. Then
So,
that's how
to be fair, too, I found out and I was uncomfortable. Like it was uncomfortable only because of like again 2000. So it's the gay stigma is still like pretty
There.
common. You know, like you're like ugh. You know, so I wasn't like ugh, but I was just like, oh shit. I immediately was like, oh, okay. I'm like, well, you know, I was super supportive. I was like, you know, it is what it is. But then he did it. He did the thing. He did.
Oh,
the-
he like flirted with you?
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
Like
he did. He
That's
was like,
the thing,
he's like, I
too,
wanted.
like-
He's like, I wanted to know if you found me interesting.
that's fair though. That's the thing. Okay, so those faces, guys. No. Okay.
I'm-
let's
no,
let's
no,
leave
no,
this
no.
no, but like
It's not even that. I
Rodrigo, you
did
gotta
not
be fair.
know
You gotta be
this.
fair though. Like
I
seriously, you
am
gotta be
being
fair.
fair.
2021 is a lot
I
different
know,
than this is
I get it. I
2020. This
get
is
it.
2000.
I 100%
I
get it.
wasn't but I
For-
wasn't grossed out because let me finish my story and then I really want you to
because
put
I
your
think that's
input.
really cute. But finish your
I
story.
know. I really
Okay,
want you to
yeah.
put your input in, though. I really want to hear it because this is the funny thing about this whole thing. I wasn't. No, to be fully fair, if I really reflect on myself, I wasn't. No, I did dry heave a little bit, but it was
Not dry
not to
heave.
him, not to him. Later on, as I told everybody in the neighborhood that he was gay,
No,
because I'm a fucking guy,
not
no.
outing him, Jamesy.
I couldn't help it.
Jamesy, come
I still didn't
on,
know.
man.
I didn't find out. So now, like even when he gets must have told
I
like
outed
three-
We can have a conversation
I
about
outed
outing
it-
someone else later.
I outed it to people who wouldn't have given a shit. I didn't out it to like his enemies or anything like that. I never
enemies
like.
or not, enemies can still become enemies.
I
even
know
after finding
it's so
some
true.
intel.
I get it, but again, understand. I'm fucking
yes, 2000s got it.
2000.
My
Not
brain
even
is
that.
on.
I'm 15,
15, 16?
16.
Yeah.
I'm a young kid.
I'm putting
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
your
'cause I
cap
was like
on.
12 or 13.
The cap is on.
Yeah. I'm a stupid fucking kid. You know what I mean? Like I don't think what I did was great, but I was like, oh my god.
At least as long as you recognize like outing him was a bad thing, then that's fine.
Like, yeah, I really don't think I said it to too many people as much as I did, but I
the
definitely.
thing is that you shouldn't be outing anyone. Period.
Oh, I didn't. And you know what? To me, as far as I was concerned, him telling me was outing himself, and I didn't know about those things anyway. But here's the fact of the matter. So let me continue my story. So he does that. I let him down and unfortunately, I don't talk to him. I start not talking to him as much anymore, and that's not necessarily because of anything. It's just because he made it weird by kind of like if he just told me he was gay and he likes this other dude, that's cool. But he's gay,
I think
and
like,
he said that he likes me.
Oh, see.
And I'm
okay.
like, I have nothing for you,
My
homie.
hand
Like,
is
I really
raised.
don't.
Barking up the wrong tree, Papa.
Okay,
So,
so like
years later,
years later. Okay. Okay, years later.
James doesn't look the way he doesn't look like the fastest guy in Green Key anymore. He's got long hair and he's fat and he's like out of shape.
We don't use that word either.
Fat?
Pleasantly plump.
Oh, it was pleasantly,
pleasantly
plump. And I guess who I run into at the mall.
Like literally run.
Like,
Like
you,
you
like,
guys
I didn't
into
run.
each
Like
other.
I bumped into him. I think he was working at something, at some like store, and I'm like, "Hey," and he looks at me like, "Ooh." That was so
Honestly,
upset.
that's I think probably the
was-
best
Wait,
reward that you could
because
find.
I
our
was
viewers-
so upset. I was
No?
so
Yeah, that's-
offended.
yeah, honestly,
Wait,
I'm
our
like,
viewers
yeah,
can't
you
see the
wanna-
face.
That's your karma, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. I don't even have to. Yeah, nope.
I was just like,
That
I was-
right there.
I was like, man, this guy was all over me back in the day, and now he doesn't want anything
Now
to
he
do
doesn't
with
like you
me.
with
That's
this
funny.
gun.
I felt like shit. I was just like, damn,
That's
man, why
funny.
doesn't he like me like that anymore?
You're stupid.
It's
Love
I'm not
that.
even I'm not
No, I
even
love
joking.
that.
Like that's
No,
the
I
thing.
love that.
So that's
Every
so that's
second of it.
and
That's
it's
kinda
it sounds like it really did happen. Like I really did feel like a little bit offended because I'm like, fuck, this guy thought I was hot, and now he doesn't think I'm shit. He thinks bitch, you ain't shit.
He probably
So he looked at you like
wrote
a-
it in his diary later that day.
Hey,
Like,
that-
"Good diary.
I saw my old
ran
crush
into my,
today,
like one of my crushes
and-
today,
He
Doesn't
looked
look
like he
quite
ate
the same.
my second crush.
and I'm just like, damn, dodge the bullet here. See you tomorrow. Sign off.
That's funny. I don't feel bad anymore.
But anyways, no, but seriously, so I have a feeling I know where you're gonna go, but I still want to hear from it. But I
Yeah.
just wanted to say, like, I have, as things progress, I shouldn't have done what I've done.
and I'm happy that you're able to recognize and really see and reflect on yourself, like the things that you did were like kind of bad.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad that you're able to like
Yeah, I noticed that when I was
put that cap
defending him,
on.
I was defending him in the wrong way.
Yeah, like, and I love the fact that you were able to really reflect and sit on that.
Oh, for sure.
However, like, thinking like back to like 15, 16-year-old like me, like in the closet still, mind you, like trying to come out to people. Like I was out to all my friends, like all my entire circle like knew I was gay. My family didn't know. If I came out to like one of my crushes and like I told them, I'm like, hey, like, and like they're my friend, let's say for example, like if we're in a situation where I'm Jason, you're you, and I was just like, hey Jamesy, got a big old crush on you.
Yeah.
I'm also gay, like finger guns.
Bang,
If
bang.
you like, if you were just like, okay, cool, support you, but like, ooh, I don't like you like that,
Yeah.
I would have been crushed.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is that like,
Or going ghost would have been even worse.
yeah, like the thing is that both of them would have been terrible.
Yeah.
Like, in that day and age, like coming out to someone was probably like one of the hardest things to do because it was even hard.
I didn't
for me,
shun
like,
him,
in the day
though.
age that I was.
I don't think I shunned him though.
Yeah, but going ghost is like just as
Yeah,
bad.
like slowly not hanging out with him as much.
Slowly
as
not
you-
hanging out was just the
that
thing
progressively
happened.
becomes like a ghost.
I mean, we did to be
only
fair,
because only if like your lives, like if your lives, both your lives, like became super busy, where the point where it's just like you guys like
Well,
stop
I
hanging out
felt
as
like
frequent, then like sure.
But I think what ended up happening is that he eventually just did come out straight up out, and I think that he just
Love that for
embraced.
him.
I think he just embraced
the
his-
fact that he didn't,
and
like
then
you.
he had
But
no,
then-
he don't need to be fucking with fucking kids like me,
Right.
When he's got like real shit to be handling. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because that's probably what also happened too. So I'm not going to necessarily blame it all on me because I don't. Again, that would be the ignorant, the ignorant straight guy thinking, well, I ruined his life and I made him do
Because
this.
you absolutely did, and if anything, like he woke up the next day and
Oh,
being
yeah,
like,
he-
all right, well,
you-
on to the
you
next
would definitely,
one. I mean, you also,
yeah,
if you think about
a
it, like made him
segment.
feel a lot better that day that you saw him years in the future.
Oh, I probably made
Yeah,
it feel
you
great.
like
It's a little
if I
tub of
saw
shit.
like my crush that I had when I was like a little old gay
tub of
person,
shit.
and like seeing like my little straight boy crush, and if I saw him and he was less hot than I was, I won. I 100% won. I think
Did it-
about
did it
like
look the
all
same?
like the boys
looked
I
so
had crushes
good.
on.
Hey,
He looked so good.
I bet he did. I
He looked so
absolutely
good.
bet
He had
did.
he had an earring on too. Like he had like
Period.
the little
yeah,
he
the little
went-
dangly earring. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
He
He had
looked
little
hot. He
curls.
probably looked really.
He had the
freaking
little
good.
because he had the waves. He had
Oh,
a
he's
wave.
wavy.
He had
He's
waves because he had like that.
you
that
know what's
curly
crazy
hair.
about this story, and like I said, this is the first time me hearing it too, and I was around when this was happening.
Yeah.
I didn't hang out with him and his friends as much.
Right.
No.
it was just me and his brother, you know, half the time if we weren't fighting. Because it was the era where they thought they were the shit and, you know, let's go pick on, you know, the chubby cousin. And so I ended up getting like all the bitches and fighting. So I was like, all right, fuck y'all, I'm tired of this shit. And then after he stopped hanging out with Jason was always by the pool.
Yeah.
So whenever these guys would just be dickheads and go do their shit and not include me or whatever, I would go to the pool and swim for hours.
Oh, you swim with Jason?
I love that.
And I told Jason that you guys were pieces of shit.
Period.
And I'm going to end up fucking you guys up one day because you guys keep picking on me. I'm going to just fuck you guys up. And then the shit with the nose shit happened. And then when Chris did that, that's it. You spill first blood, I'm fucking you up. And I remember one day, like, he was throwing out the trash and the whole trash bag, like, came apart. And I was like, well, sucks to be you, bitch boy. And I left. Right. And I remember he had to pick up all the trash with his bare hands and throw them back in there. And Titi was yelling at me, talking about, oh, what the fuck? I was like, cuz I'm not his mother. I threw out my trash bag. His bro, why you didn't help him? I was like, cuz I'm not picking up trash. For him, fuck him. So I got in trouble for that. And then he came over there trying to swing on me. I swung, got in trouble. His dad whooped my ass. And that was it. He never picked on me.
Can we get back to where you were in the pool with
Jason?
Did Jason ever ask? Did Jason ever ask about me?
Assholes, and you guys ain't shit. And I'm trying to work out and get all. He's like, well, swim is the best workout. That's why I'm always here in the gym. And I'm like, oh, so that's why you're always here. Cool. So yeah, I'm gonna swim.
He was very shit. He was in shape.
We could talk. We do that. He's like, oh, do Jason, this a couple, and he gave me some weights for the water. He's like, put these on your ankle and put these on your wrist and do laps. So I just kept doing it and working out. Then I joined some Optimist football. Bomb. Lose weight, hair grows, whole different person. I've never seen Jason no more until that. And you know what? If he ever listens to this, thank you. Because I had someone to talk to, and I didn't know his thing. He's saying
Jason, I still look like shit, but you know, I'm not who I am anymore.
Jason, if you're hearing this, you sound hot. So if you want to hit my lineup, you absolutely can.
He's an older man.
I don't give a fuck.
I mean, I think Jason, he was either my age or 1 year older than me. I don't remember.
I don't give a shit.
Like, I felt like I lost weight because he kind of encouraged me, and he was like, I never knew why he was so like pissed off and mad.
I remember his last name.
I think this was after that whole scenario with them. Mm-hmm. So he was just like, I guess he didn't think I would hang out with him because I guess the word was spread that he was gay. I didn't get the memo.
Right.
But he never made no move or anything, you know what I mean? So perfect, cool. But he was just like, you know, if you really want to work out, I can help you.
But if he had made a move on you, let's say, for example, because like those are also like there's two different occasions, like, right? Like, for example, like Jason didn't like make a move technically like on Jamesy. Like, if anything, like James, like he just told James like, oh, like I'm gay, have a crush on you, finger guns, right? Yeah. Now there are like some people who like, because like you see it always in like in movies and shit, because it always has to be like theatrical and shit. But like I've seen like movies where like again, like they're young, they're queer, like one is like gay, one is straight, and like the gay like best, let's say for example they're like best friends, like they never made a move on each other, blah blah blah. And let's say like the gay one like makes a move on the straight one, and it's just like whoa, you know, like would you have then like, how would you react to that?
If he would have physically made a move, that wouldn't have been okay. I think that wouldn't be cool on his part, I think.
But I don't think he had it in him to just make a move. He was
no.
Like some
that's
people
fine.
Like do that though,
but
like,
I don't think that's cool. I think that's equivalent
cool,
to me making a move on a girl.
That's also worth
like
the conversation. That's also worth the conversation.
It is. You could just tell him I'm not into that. Sorry.
Yeah, like that's worth the conversation because like there's people who like get like physically violent, and there's people who are just like yo, like
no, I wouldn't have fucked him up.
Like I'm not like that. Cause like when it gets to like
grab my
violence,
dick or my ass, then I might like hit you. But like, just don't touch me. You can say whatever you want. You can do whatever. Just don't like physically.
Yeah.
Show that.
As long as like you're like verbal about it. I feel as if like you can be like, yeah, no, like
you shouldn't be
please
touching
don't. Like,
anybody.
I'm not,
Gay or
like,
straight or anything. You don't touch
like,
anybody.
Consent,
doesn't wanna be touched?
you know, like I think nowadays, because like in the movies and stuff, obviously, like how I said, like they become like, it's very like dramatized, so like
Right.
they always do that first move, and sometimes it does lead to violence, and I'm just like, whoa, like how can people react like that? Like
I would have
going
never
straight to violence to just like beat someone's ass just because this person
Yeah.
like kissed you. Like, whoa, like I get it, like you don't fuck, like you don't flow that way, but like you can have a conversation with that person and be like, listen, like baby, like I don't like you like that, like we're pals, we're homies, we're not like that.
I mean, then again, remember we were talking about when we're like 13,
Yeah.
15 years old, so we don't think that
I don't-
logical.
yeah,
that
like I'm
mature.
saying, what you're talking about, unfortunately, is but it's the progression. It's what you're talking about is where we're at now compared to where we were.
Oh, yeah.
literally not that long ago. So
Yeah,
so
not
to
that long
say
ago.
to say
Yeah,
that,
like 20
and even me
20
now.
years, like, it's not long.
No, I'm me again. I told you, looking back at the situation, there is absolutely no ignorance on my part today. Like if that same fucking situation happens with me now, as like I'd just be like, I'd laugh probably. I'd be like, whatever. I'm sorry, I'm straight. Like I don't mean to break your heart, but like, you know, like we could still be friends. But you got to understand that the friendship, and if that's too much for you, then you need to probably find something. But, you know, but that's a friendship that you're going to be ending because you can't control your emotions and shit.
It's
But-
like I already let you down easy, baby. I don't have to do it.
Right? No, and that's how I would be today. Like today, I wouldn't even. Again, I'd be super flattered. Number one,
Right.
that's another thing that I didn't feel at all when he told me. I felt like gross a little bit. But again, I'm being really candid about my emotions.
No, I mean,
but
like,
it's not me
real is
being
real.
it's not me being this way. It's not me being that way because I'm an asshole and I'm a fucking 14-year-old kid in the early 2000s. That was the you know, Eminem was fucking, you know, a
Like
thing,
saying shit about
and he
people.
was
Yeah,
saying
yeah, he
so
was
many,
gay bashing.
he's
like,
gay
for
bashing
years.
like crazy. So
Everyone's
you're just like,
fucking
it's just
bashing.
in the zeitgeist of how you feel towards
Yeah.
gay people.
But
you know?
overall, though,
Now, did I ever feel rage or hate? Did I feel like I need to freaking beat the shit out of a gay
Nah,
gay
never
person?
that.
Absolutely not. That was
would hope not.
never. No. Because that again, but I think that falls in whether or not you're just a good person or not. You know what I mean? Like I there's people who we live in situations that just situationally, but then you have people who are good in certain situations that they just don't know, or they don't, you know. And I think that's where I fell in.
Right.
Yeah,
where,
it's
you know.
understandable though. As long
Listen.
as, I mean, we all evolve, we all progress, we all,
Yeah.
you know.
I
We
only
learn.
to
felt,
allow ourselves to grow.
and you got to keep in mind
There's,
too,
like, some
the
people who
immediate thing I
don't.
thought about when he said he was gay is all those porn talks and the jerk and the J and the D talks and all those things. Because then I felt like, oh, you were like, here I am thinking I'm talking to my homie about this, but you're kind of saying it because you like my pee-pee. You know,
But
you're like,
also, like, but again, like
get what I'm
at
saying?
this time,
and that's
though,
why
like,
I felt betrayed a little.
But at the
I
time,
mean,
though,
watching
if you
porn
have
with a
to
gay man is like.
But the thing is that like
I
you
didn't know
have
he
to
was gay,
also
you
put
know?
yourself in his shoes too. Like again, like he didn't come out to you until a year later.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
at that time period, like I played the straight card. I was straight for a period of time. Like I had girlfriends. I was in that. You know, like I was very much so
He
just
had
like
girlfriend.
yeah, I had a handful. I can name everything first and last.
He probably
I
had
re-
more girlfriends than me, and I'm fucking straight.
I've like I can name all
Oh,
my
no, you went
girlfriends
through
like
some.
first and last. Shout out to all of them. Like great women now.
Good job,
Like,
bitches.
Love them. Like
Yeah.
they're all really sweet. Like all very kind. Like I'm happy that like they were like they still like love me like that. Like they
Wait,
didn't
so
look
you actually have contact with some of your ex girls?
100%. I'm friends with all of them. Every single one of
Are you
my
serious?
girlfriends, I'm like friends with. Yeah. Like
So did when they found out?
they were all supportive of me.
Oh, that's
they were
awesome.
all super supportive.
That's
like
awesome.
that's the thing. It's just like I like again like played that straight card where like I was like straight for a period of time, and then I was like playing with this like, oh, maybe I like both, and then I realized that like I'm like gay, and then like now I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, I think I'm queer because like I also fuck with like people who are like trans and stuff and like non-binary.
Okay.
So it's like I'm very like as you grow older, like you realize more and more about yourself. So
Yeah.
like at that period of time, I think like Jason, like when he was talking to you about like straight stuff, like, you know, getting boners and this and that, I think that's still like genuine. I think like it I can understand your feeling of betrayal, but I want you to look at it in a different way.
Because he kind of like, he brought it up. Like, I didn't bring it up.
I feel like he was still doing some homework on you, though, to make sure that he knew the right time to be like, hey, look, not for nothing, but, you look good working out.
But it's also like
can I
it's
spot
like
you?
children still trying to like have that conversation, really getting to know like even our own body parts.
Right.
Like I think like that's something you have to also think of it like that. Like I understand like that like sense of betrayal, but like think of it a little bit more positively. And
absolutely.
Like this person was like speaking to me like before they had come out to me about like these things that we both had in common, but this person at one point at the end is at that point like finally understood who they were truly and genuinely. But that conversation you guys still had was still a genuine conversation about the same thing.
If anything, listen, if I were able to turn back time, like it'd be easy. It'd be like, I'd be like, dope. And it'd be like, oh, but I'm into you. I'm like, yeah, I'm straight though. and that'd be pretty much it. I'm like, but hey, like, let's get you a dude or something. Like, let's go.
Let's go somewhere.
Yeah, that's us now. Back in the days, like, for real.
Well, no, yeah, and that's
like,
what was back in the day. But I'm saying now, I totally see myself.
I mean, it's back in the day, like, okay, like,
I'm just saying,
don't
and
want
if like James could take
us.
his brain and like go back a couple years,
it'd have been easy.
And like put his brain like back into his
bother me
16-year-old brain and put himself in that situation again. Like I think James would definitely answer it differently.
100%.
Well,
not even
like
that.
Everybody
Fuck
learned.
that. Don't even put my brain as an adult. Have James grow up instead of in 2000s. I want to say maybe growing up now, you with people opening up and us like really having things like Pride Month and having all of these awarenesses towards that, it would probably make me go, oh, it doesn't bother me none, okay.
Actually, I think like nowadays, like
I'm see... and the thing is too, it's like I know myself to be straight. Like, it just is what it is.
Right.
There's nothing changing how I feel about myself. It's like I love women. Women is the only thing that makes this fucking pee-pee jump. I mean, it's true. I mean, have I seen dicks? Yes. Have I seen asses? Yes. Have I seen guys do some fucking crazy shit to each other? Of course. And that shit just goes inside me. It just doesn't do anything for me. Like, it doesn't.
Fair.
And it doesn't. Fair. So I genetically just straight, But at the same token, I totally get anybody who's into what they're into. Period. Like, I'm like, you know what? That makes sense. You see this guy do this? I'm like, yeah.
Well, Jason hit on you, and I lost weight, so I'm cool. He didn't say, and he barely talked.
Oh,
I was just bashing you guys so hard that I was like, yeah, fuck him. And he was like, well, no biggie. You can always come here and chill, work out, and play some sports. You got like
a little bit of grossy feeling inside.
I kind of feel like he needed.
It's fine,
I kind of feel like he needed a friend, and we both were kind of like singled out at one point. Me for just being younger, chubby, or whatever, and them already having their circle friends. Even Chris had his couple of nerd friends that he chilled with all the time. So I was more the outcast. But when I seen Jason there, what's up? Like, when we all hung out, it was cool. But then I did notice when he stopped hanging out with him, and he just hung out like at Richie's crib, or just chilled and locked yourself over there. And we didn't do that much outdoor activity anymore like we used to, like from manhunt or wrestling. And like even with the wrestling, like Jason would be in the gym and we'll be doing a bunch of like wrestling moves and all that in the tennis court. And I would just see Jason just walk to his crib. Like, and then I was like, damn, nobody talks to him anymore, whatever. I didn't know you were already promoting that he was gay. Shit. So I didn't get the memo. So yeah, shame on you. But
shame.
I noticed the difference.
Right.
Nobody wanted to hang out with him no more. Who's gonna wrestle with a gay boy?
Not back
That's
then.
how everybody
Not
was thinking in that day.
Now, I mean, like,
but back in that day, it was like,
the
I'm not wrestling this motherfucker. You ain't putting me in a figure 4 leg lock.
Yeah,
that's the
might
whole
not get
thing.
out.
It's just like, thankfully, like nowadays, like people don't like, or at least like not everyone thinks that way.
Yeah.
Because like you could be good at a sport and like rock that sport.
Yeah.
And you can be straight, gay, whatever the case may be.
Like, I don't think there's no such thing as a gay sport, is there?
No.
What would you consider a gay sport?
I can't even tell. Everything is a gay fucking sport. Football, basketball, fucking
sports
like
pretty gay.
Sports in general,
You just play with balls all the time.
You said what's gay?
Every single
sports
sport.
are pretty cool.
Usually,
you play with balls all the time. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, Yeah, I already know that what I did back then was wrong, but it was just like it's so funny how, and I think that the lesson to be learned is it the way, why was I like that? Like really, like why am I like that?
That's a great lesson.
Why was I like that? Why did I do that? Is it because I'm a bad person? It's like
no, because back in the day it wasn't cool to hang out with the gay boy.
It's because It's
It was
because
such a
of the
what it was.
way.
Demonized,
Yes,
like,
it's the way
alienation
that
of just,
society
like,
treated it.
Yeah.
Because our parents grew up and they had their thoughts about certain things, and then they maybe not have instilled it in us, but they murmured it. It's in the air. It's in the air. You know
it's
what
really
I mean?
like how like you're brought up, like really. Like I'm in a very privileged standpoint where like my parents, like the moment I told them I was gay, they were like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, all right, like.
I mean, that's how I would be if I had a
So
kid.
there was like, all right. So with your parents, when you opened up and tell them, like, was there one parent that you still felt like wasn't fully accepted?
Yeah, 100%.
Which one would that be?
As
Your
much
dad
as like
or
my
your
dad
mom?
wants to say that he wasn't like that, like my dad, like in the beginning, like showed a little bit of resilience, but he was just like because like I think like thinking back to like how my dad thinks right now, like my dad thinks really innocently too, like how I do, and my dad's just like, but you had all these girlfriends, and I think like that's what
another
made him
thing.
like
Yeah, you had girlfriends.
confused
He's like,
a bit. Which I understand, you know, like Latin men, like he was like
Yeah.
older, like, you know, he immigrated from like,
You threw him
Peru to
off.
here, like it threw him a
you
little
had
bit
some
off.
girlfriends. and you threw
However,
him
like
off.
as time progressed, like my dad, like thankfully, like kindest man I know, takes the time now to like educate himself about LGBTQ.
Awesome,
like,
that's awesome.
That's
things
cool.
and like all these things.
That's
And it
very
makes me
cool.
super proud, like to like be and happy that I can show him like stuff about like my own community and for him to be like, oh, like I read about that.
Shout out to
Or
Pops.
like
Awesome.
yeah, shout out to Pops for sure.
That's awesome.
But like in the
Absolutely.
beginning,
It's a
when I
big
came out
step.
to like my family, like it was like really easy with my sister, my brother, my mom, super easy, super positive. My dad at the beginning, very like not resilient, but like very like thrown off. But then as time grew and as I got older and as I started, you know, like dating men and like you know,
Right.
like being with other people and like being people who like I like loved, my dad was just like, okay, cool. You're dating my like child, great, cool, love that. As long as you respect them,
Just like anybody in any
That's a pretty
relationship.
genuine
as long
answer.
as you fucking respect my kids,
Mhm.
like you
That's
have
pretty
an
genuine.
in my family and in my heart. But the
Right.
moment you disrespect my child, you're out of here.
Yeah.
And that's how my dad's been with all of my partners, you know? Like
That's good though. Awesome. That's,
so I'm very
that's real
happy
cool.
about that. Like I'm
See,
very
people-
privileged in that aspect.
And you wouldn't, and you know, honestly, deep down inside, you really couldn't blame him for much because of the era he came.
Yeah. I definitely had to like really like and that's the thing, like some like I think like again like me being like a child of immigrant parents, you know, like being Latin,
So different.
like being
So
like you know
different.
like there's
Yeah.
like so many things, like so many intersects of like my
Yeah.
life, like having to explain to them now like something that is like very American too, because
Right.
like being queer and being that was like very
Old-fashioned,
American,
is that.
because like out in different countries it wasn't so out shouting about, because still like there's a lot of countries who still don't like aren't okay with LGBT.
No, they'll
you know,
shun
like
you.
mind
They'll shun you
they'll
for it.
murder you.
Countries.
time.
Russia,
Yeah,
Russia
yeah.
will kill you.
Yeah.
No,
straight
yeah,
up.
people, yeah,
you
they
know,
react.
like
They
scary.
react very
You
differently.
know, no. But like them coming from like a country where like it wasn't very like open and talked about, like you know there weren't a lot of like gay
It's not
people,
a
and if they
common
were
thing,
like
no.
it's not, you know, even though they're around us all the time, no matter what, no matter how much we want to like say that it wasn't a common thing, we were all
They just
we
don't
were
want
always
their-
still around.
They
We
just
were
don't
always
want
still
their
around no matter
personal
what.
kids to be on that. Because I know a couple of people. I can ask a couple of homies. Oh, you have a baby or anything? What if he's gay? Why don't you have anything to say to that? As
And
long
that's
as
the worst.
As long as
that's
he's healthy.
the worst. That's your child.
As long as he's
That's
healthy.
the person you like helped bring into this world.
You created
like,
it.
that you created this person. You created your child.
And
Like,
just because
this-
they decided to be gay, that's not.
that has nothing to do with you.
You still got a
That
good
has
kid.
nothing. The only thing that you should be thinking about and caring about is if this child is healthy, happy, and respected.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
100%.
As long as you're not raising a little asshole, you're good to go.
Like
That's
I
it.
would beat the fuck out of my kid if they were disrespectful to anyone. If they
Yeah.
were like racist, homophobic,
Doesn't
like
matter,
xenophobic, like any of the phobics besides like maybe like insects, like whatever. I'm afraid of insects too. Fuck it.
Yeah.
But if you were like phobic to like any people, like yo, like I'm beating your ass. Like you're gonna get that shit
Facts.
out of here, because at this house we respect everybody. Like
Yeah.
fuck that.
Number love.
But if my kid was just like racist, homophobic, xenophobic, like any of the other phobics, beating their ass straight up, being like, whose kid are you? Because it's not mine.
Yeah, 'cause you're not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to fingers crossed raise a child who's not an asshole. You know, like they can be an asshole like in a funny way. It can be an asshole like, you know, very passive, like ha ha
But
ha.
like
Like, we can joke around. But if you're
a
like
real
a dick
asshole
to people for no fucking reason, just because they want to express themselves or be the way that they are, nah, we're gonna have a whole conversation, sit down, and until you get to the same page that we are not leaving this table.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
to close up this podcast, but it's fantastic. I think going off of what you just said too, I think that it really what it all boils down to is like really like just being decent human beings and really trying to
100%.
Isn't it crazy how like far we're getting when it comes to like just not where we're really like the best way I can think of it is like when you're siphon or like, you know, when you're like digging, like mining for gold, and then you get the dirt and you put it in that mesh,
You
and
shake
then you
it
like
out,
shake it out,
yeah.
and then you put more, and you just like, we're getting to that point where we're really like just getting rid of all the dirt as far as like the bullshit.
Yeah,
oh,
we're
you're
definitely
black,
trying.
you're white, you're Spanish, you're gay, you're straight, you're a guy, you're a girl, you're this, you're that, like all of these like thing. You know what's funny too about that, all of that,
It's all colonial.
not even that, you can't, you're born that way, you know what I mean, like none of those things you
You
can
are the
really
way that you
control.
are.
You're born black, you're born white, you're born this, you're born that, you know, you're born gay, you're born straight,
You
you're
don't
born a
choose to be
boy, you're
gay.
born a
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah,
you know
because
what I mean?
naturally you'll feel that if you feel attraction.
And I'm talking
to-
about how you feel too. Like if you're
Yeah,
born a
it's
guy,
all
and I'm talking about
feelings.
even for trans people who were born a guy, but they feel like, but that's fit. You were born that way though. You were
Yeah.
born the way who you feel,
Accept
and
it,
that's
embrace
what
it.
you are. And that's the thing. That's the thing. That's where like and that's the stuff that we're criticizing people for. The stuff that can't be helped. Like that's ridiculous, and I'm glad that we're starting to get rid of that mentality of the stuff that you have no control over. You have no control over that. How can you control that? It's like I can't help it. I'm sorry.
I think
You know?
like
And we try to work on ourselves as people is now more than ever what we'll have room to do. Like we're like, I can point out to someone and be like, that person's amazing. Why? Not because they're this, not because they're that, not because they, you know, it's because they're genuinely nice. They have a nice, you know, personality. They respect
Their
they
aura, their energy.
They have a
just
good
so
energy, exactly.
good.
Where you have other, and the same thing goes on. He's like, I don't fuck with that person. Why? It's because of, not because they're, you know, XYZ or whatever.
Yeah.
It's because they're shitty. They're a
yeah.
shitty person because
Yeah.
they're not nice. They didn't show compassion. They don't show care. They don't show patience or anything like that. So you know that these are things that like I said, we just throw the dirt, and now everybody's getting their gold piece where they're like, that's really what I am at the end of the day. I'm not the pile of dirt. You siphon all that bullshit, my race, my color, my you know, my sexual orientation, what I like to do. Get rid of all that. It's who I am inside, and you get a piece of gold. So there you go. Well, we've been on for over an hour.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's been a great podcast. I'm so glad we did this.
Very informative.
It's just informative. It's just a nice spreading of.
No, it was informative, nigga. I didn't motherfucking know about Jason like that. It was informative. What are you talking about? Like, I'm over here again, motherfucking
Swimming lessons. In this guy.
swimming lessons, and he just finished hitting on you or telling you.
That's why he taught me the dog paddle like that. I get it.
Fuck you.
Just kidding. But anyways, yeah, no, if I doubt Jason will ever listen, but if you're
listening,
hit me up.
Oh,
Fuck that.
jinx.
Yeah. Jason, if you're listening to this, I need you to comment your side of it.
Oh, I would love
yeah.
it.
I would love to see
He would be like,
comments.
bitch, I didn't like you that much.
Bitch, you wasn't all that. Like, you know? But, like, yeah, definitely.
He's like, I was just trying to see if you were gay because you gay as fuck. And I was like, damn it.
But if you're listening, man, definitely comment. We would love to hear everybody's input. Anybody who listens to the podcast, I love to emphasize
anytime
that.
we talk about you,
Don't just
reach
listen
out.
to it. Put your input on it. Everybody has an opinion. You know, everybody has their comment. We want that. feedback. What is? I mean, obviously we want positive feedback, but still, comment, share, repost, and let us know what you want on the next segment.
Yes.
Or give us some topics. We literally talk about whatever.
Actually, speaking of which, did you do that homework assignment the last time you were on?
Oh God, he gave you the gay homework.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Actually.
No, you didn't.
Okay. Yeah.
No,
okay.
you didn't.
So,
You guys are gonna have to pay extra for this, but we're gonna ride.
like, okay. So sorry to keep like.
This is where I wish I had Patreon.
Yeah. Like, sorry for the people who
Extra
have to
cut.
like who are still listening. And like, if you're still listening and you okay, so if you guys
God bless
remember
your
the
soul if
last
you're
podcast
listening.
that I was on,
Yes.
I was asked a very important question. The question was, if I can differentiate between a dildo and a real dick. And I 100% can, and the
Nice.
only reason why I know is because of the fact that like I was having sex with this one person like way back when, and not even way back when, like kind of like recently, if anything.
Okay.
And like it was like I had sex with them, obviously, and then like I had gone home and I was still, you know, like really, you know, very hormonal, I guess.
Yes.
And I, you know, went to play with myself, and I have toys at home, you know, like that are like
that looked like.
who that are, you know, were much bigger than the boy that I was fucking
Okay.
with.
But they're realistically.
But
Oh
they're
yeah,
realistic.
100%.
Okay.
Like they're
They won't get a
they're-
25-inch dick and then compare it to a regular.
Nah,
yeah.
obviously. It was
Obviously.
like I had at least like 6.5 and 7 inside of me. I have 8 at the house, you know, like I have a very solid, dependable 8 at the house. I have 2 of them.
He said it dependable.
Oh,
All reliable. I got 2 of them. So I, you know,
I
like
gotta tell
still
a female
being
that.
still being hormonal and shit, you know, I was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
let me get my 8-incher out here, you know, let me just start touching myself and playing with myself again.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a difference. Like there is a much sturdiness and like much more firmness when it comes to a dildo. When it comes to just like an actual dick, like there's more like fleshy, and like you can feel like the like skin difference even.
Yeah.
It feels like more like warm too, because like most dildos are like silicone, like at least the ones I have are silicone.
Yeah.
And they're not like warm, so they don't have that like warmness feeling to it like how a real like an actual dick would have. But
Right.
like the dildos, like dildos in general, are like, and some of them do come, you know, with a warming setting. Like I have one that does warm up.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say.
The one the one that I use
even
is-
even the one with the warming setting, you could still tell.
yeah, like you can
Yeah.
just feel like there's a significant difference, because again, like there is a much harder firmness for dildos than there are like actual dicks.
Well, we're definitely gonna take your word for it. So
Oh, this is informative news.
we're gonna just say you're accurate.
I remember saying one more thing, and I don't think you did that, but I was gonna say, if you could differentiate the difference between different people, you have to find 2 dudes that are the same.
Okay, I can make that my next homework assignment,
Yeah.
because I would like to have a threesome in the near future, which will hopefully
but you have to. But the hard part is you're gonna have to get obviously 2 dudes that are
fine with that.
they're
Oh.
sizably the same, and on top of sizably the same, they would have to also be built the same.
I wouldn't
meaning-
necessarily say built, because like there are people
No,
who are
I'm
like,
not talking about body. I'm talking about their junk still.
oh, okay.
I'm talking about
like keep the penis in the same inch
Yeah,
area.
okay.
If they, have,
okay.
if they
6
both
to 8
have,
inches.
I'll
if they
look-
both
I'll-
have turtlenecks, they should both have turtlenecks.
Oh
If they
yeah,
don't-
I love
'Cause-
me a good turtleneck.
There you go.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So if
Oh, I
it's-
know.
I still thought we were talking about sweaters, but
oh, we're not talking about sweaters, baby. That's all I know. No, I can find 2 turtlenecks. That's easy.
I mean, you don't have to, but I'm just saying. But if they don't wear their turtleneck, then they
search
both don't, because
continues.
I feel like that's cheating. So basically, if you can, but you have to play the game where
You know what? I'll do even
where you're
better.
like-
I'll do one with 2 turtlenecks and 2 people who don't.
Even better.
You know, I love extra credit
Even better.
assignments.
So
I'm an overachiever,
These are
everyone.
2 different scenarios. So and then so the dudes with so you're gonna see if you could tell the difference between the 2 dudes,
Uh huh.
and then with the turtlenecks, and then tell the difference between the 2 dudes without it,
Solid.
and just be like, oh, I could totally feel the difference between a person,
Solid.
and I want to know why and how.
Solid. Okay. Yeah. No, I can do extra credit. I love that for me.
I think it's gonna be hard finding 2 dudes with the same dicks.
Well, like,
feel like dicks are
size,
so different.
girth, very
You're
much
Rodrigo.
so. It's gonna be a little
Huh?
bit difficult,
you're
but
not him.
yeah, I'm not. You're not.
He might
me.
have a fucking skill.
That's
I do.
impressive.
I
You know what I
do.
mean? Like that's like me like finding like, you know, I mean, fuck no, just me in general, just imagine being in like a locker room.
Like finding some, like comparing like roast beef pussy to
Yeah.
skin tight pussy to fat lip pussy.
Yeah,
and
there's so many different
Oh
types of
my
vaginas.
God.
like little coochie.
I'm just saying it's hard. Yeah. Anyway, well, thanks guys for listening to the podcast. Yeah, would you like to add anything, Daffy, before we sign out?
Love everybody, dog.
Yeah.
Even if you don't
100%.
understand them, love them.
Yeah.
And if you receive what you give, and stop all the hate, because you keep hating on gay people, which is gonna think you're gay. So
Exactly. Don't be whack.
And Jason, please comment and thank you for the non-gay swimming lessons. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Jason.
Do not tell me the
call
backstroke
me.
at all.
Oh my God. Not the backstroke.
Call me Jason.
Shame.
Jason.
Rodrigo, thank you again for another amazing podcast. You are always welcome back for any time.
Sure.
I swear it's not only for gay shit that you're allowed back. You can come
No,
back for
for
anything.
sure.
Movie reviews, game reviews,
Music.
or just music, or just a topical event. Or
Shit,
just
strip
to
clubs.
chill. Just to
Talk
chill.
about strip clubs in your perspective and shit.
Never
That'd
been
be
to one.
interesting. No?
No.
Guy? Like,
Neither.
neither? Nope. Oh, we're gonna.
I know a club personally that has both in one.
I would like
Really?
to see.
Both
Yes.
in one.
I would like to see.
That's interesting.
Booby Trap around Doral has
I think I
LeBear's
passed it. Yeah. I
next door to it, connected.
Oh, okay, got it.
LeBear's not always open, but they'll have Booby
LeBear's
Trap
there.
side, and then they kind of like scheduled and everything. You know what I'm saying? It's not like everybody walks into a male strip, even though these females go crazy, but some only accept females, and some are open to have men there too, because just because a guy is a stripper don't necessarily make him gay either.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You dance for women, but there's some that don't care. They'll dance for anybody. Just
They dance for money.
More powerful.
They dance
for
for money,
them,
exactly,
Yeah,
so.
they're confident.
But
in
that'll be the
themselves,
next one.
hopefully.
We'll get strip clubs involved and hopefully throw him in a good pile that he might want to swim.
I mean,
in.
I'm
I
not.
would literally scream.
I
But he could knock two birds with one stone. Go to that club, he goes to both.
I would yell. Nah,
He could see how it is
I
on
would
the other
think it'd
side.
be
I can tell you right now,
hilarious.
I would be yelling, like screaming,
Yeah.
like screeching,
Yeah.
like you know how I am. Like because again, it's just like never been in that kind of environment. If someone comes up to me and gives me a lap dance, I would yell. I would yell
that'd
and
be
scream,
awesome.
like, but of
Stranger
excitement,
danger.
like not even like of excitement, and then just pure like awe.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I would
'Cause
be
it's
like,
gonna
I
be-
don't even know what to do.
Because it's
here.
not gonna be. It's not
Like-
gonna be like a fucking like a regular guy. It's gonna be like
someone
like an Adonis.
I was thinking like guy or girl. Like I don't even know. Like
Oh,
if
even a
I
girl
went-
too?
If I went to like a female strip club and a girl gave me a lap dance or like started doing shit to me, I'd be like, I don't know what to do here, but I'm gonna just stand here and just like take it.
Just grab the ass. Just
I would
grab-
yell. I would scream. I would be like, I don't know what to do. I'd be like, thank you so much. I'd tap them in the back and be like, thanks.
You know what's funny? You sound just like me when I first started going.
What do I
Same with
do
the
here?
guys. If a guy came up to me and tried to touch me all over, I'd be like, thanks.
Thanks there, buddy.
Thanks so much, bud.
Thanks,
I'm gonna
pal.
go and then just write about this in my diary. Like, dear diary. Someone
Dear
gave me a
diary.
lap dance and I didn't know what to do.
Tip them. To
Oh
always
yeah,
tip.
definitely tip your dancers.
Tip your dancers, people.
always.
Always.
Tip sex workers always.
Hell yeah.
Tip them.
That's right.
All kinds of tips.
All right, Rodrigo. Thank you again for dropping by. And
Absolutely.
again, love you guys. Remember, if you have anything to say, you just go ahead and talk to a friend. They're always there for you. Just talk it out. Talk. Peace, baby.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, baby, call that shit, baby. Call that motherfucking therapist, baby. If you don't got a therapist, call your mom. If you don't got a mom, call your motherfucking friend. If you don't got a friend, talk to the person under the bridge and they'll tell you about your problem. Gotta go talk that. Gotta 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 go ahead, baby. Go ahead and talk that. Gotta go ahead, baby. Gotta talk that. Gotta go ahead and get your feelings out, baby. Go ahead and talk that. Gotta talk that.
Talk to me, baby, yo, I wanna help you. Talk to me, baby girl, I wanna help you.
Talk to me, baby boy, I wanna help you. Talk Dr. Me, baby boy, I'm gonna help you. Dr. Me, 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 Dr. Me. Go ahead and talk down. 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 Go ahead and talk Talk to him, gotta talk to him. Gotta talk to talk, I gotta talk to him. If you're not feeling well, baby, gotta talk it out. Gotta get it from the inside to the outside. Gotta externalize that shit. Gotta take it from the bottom of your stomach to the top of the lip. And you get that out. Now you feel a little better. Now you do that shit. Gotta exercise, gotta exercise, gotta exercise. Gotta exercise your mind. Gotta exercise your mind. Gotta exercise your